Hey there, friends, and welcome back to the Regent Law Podcast, Season 2. We're kicking off this year by looking back and celebrating what happened last year. This episode is graduating law student Daniel Luster's commencement speech. You don't want to miss out. He's going to speak to us about what he loves about Regent Law School and what makes this place so special. Enjoy!
And now please welcome to the stage Daniel J. Luster, a graduate from the School of Law, for today's graduate reflection.
Good morning. Let me first say congratulations to the class of 2024. I'd like to thank Chancellor Gordon Robertson and the faculty of the School of Law, and especially our amazing leader, Dean Lingo. We are so fortunate to have him leading our school. So today is an important day, a day worthy of the strange mixture of sadness, reflection, and celebration that we associate with commencement. All of us have worked hard to get here today, and today is a celebration of our achievements as graduates, but it's just as much a celebration of all the people in our lives who have helped us get here. My wife, my parents, my in-laws are here today, and when I think about all that they have sacrificed to give me the possibilities and the opportunities that I have had, words quickly fail me. It's not a stretch to say that none of us would be here today except for the encouraging words and the generous hearts of our families and friends. There's perhaps never been a time in the world's history when Christian leadership is more needed. We live in a culture in decline. The great tradition of liberty in the West is dying. The most obvious manifestation of this is the growing hostility towards the freedom of thought, the freedom of speech, and the pursuit of the truth. But Regent University is a place full of stubborn people who are courageous and refuse to let those traditions die. Now, if you were to go back in a time machine to the 1990s and you told people that a Christian conservative university would be one of the last bastions of academic freedom in our country, I suspect that no one would have believed you. Yet it is undeniably the case. And so Regent takes its place among the great institutions of the past that have sought to protect knowledge, ideas, and free inquiry in a darkening world. In most universities today, students are formed to think narrowly, to trade curiosity for being part of the group. But Regent is forming students into the kind of people who will ask bold questions, challenge the status quo, and courageously lead in the troubled times that lay ahead. Today, I would like to share just a few things that I have learned here at Regent about what it means to be a Christian leader. And it's cliche, but first is, of course, humility. And humility is indispensable. Our motto here is, of course, Christian leadership to change the world. But I have often wondered what that really means in practice. Regent's answer to that question of mine is simple: to form your life in the way of Jesus, to serve without expecting anything in return, and to do what is right, not what is easy. The world's view of leadership is not like this. It has a lot more to do with power and control than it does with humility and service. But Regent has a very different idea of leadership. Not long ago, I had the chance to sit around the table and hear from Chancellor Robertson and hear him talk about his vision for Regent. His answers to all the questions about the future of Regent were centered not on his grand plans and vision, but on the absolute need for prayer. He models a quiet, prayerful humility in the way he leads. Here at Regent, I have seen that in the end, world-changing leadership is much less about our position, influence, or how hard we can fight our way to the top, and much more about being faithful in the small and mundane tasks that we would often prefer that other people do instead of us. I've come to realize that an important aspect of humility is understanding that my position in life is not my problem. My job title, my role, the amount of influence I have, all these things are not in my control. It's not my job to make all of my dreams happen. It is my job to be faithful in the normal parts of life. I love the story of Joseph from the Bible. For decades, he lived his life in total frustration and obscurity. And then one day, he basically became president. The Lord can elevate any of us tomorrow. But the real question is, could we handle it? It took years of suffering for Joseph to become the kind of person that the Lord could use. And the Lord is, I think, much more concerned with how humble we are, how much we think of others, than he is with where we fall in the org chart of life. Just the other day, my wife asked me, "Who's someone who inspires you?" Without hesitation, I said, "Professor James Duane from the law school. He's one of the most brilliant and fascinating people that I've ever met. He could be a partner at any firm, any law firm in the country, making orders of magnitude more money than he is now. And yet he chooses to go where the Lord has called him. His trust in the Lord with his position in life has profoundly shaped how I see my own." Second, here at Regent, I have learned that a leader must be present. We are perhaps the first culture in history that has made distraction into an art form. We celebrate it, we perpetuate it, and long for it. But we are all caught in the flow of time. I'm sure many of you are staggering around today wondering, how did I get here? How did it all go by so fast? As far as I know, there is only one way to slow down the onslaught of time, and that is to learn the very difficult lesson of how to be completely present where the Lord has you, with the things and the people right in front of you. Our culture tells us that if we want to change the world, you must be 10 steps ahead, thinking about all the things you're supposed to be doing in the future. But if we miss the moments and the people right in front of us, we miss it all. Of course, school is full of opportunities to be busy, distracted, stressed, anything but present. But I have had professors with lots to do make so much time for me, like Professor Hernandez or Professor Lynn Combe, who have dropped everything at a moment's notice to help me navigate situations that are difficult. Or Dean Lingo. No one has more to do than him, and yet he is remarkably available to students, always giving of his time and his attention. Time is our most precious commodity, and the professors here spend theirs generously on the students. Finally, I have learned that the heart of Christian leadership is actually friendship. In fact, some of the most profound lessons of leadership that I have learned here have come through my fellow students. My friend Peter has shown me that my life can be oriented around cultivating a deep sense of beauty and a desire for the good. My friend Isaac has shown me the joy in developing one's mind as a lifelong project. My friend Emily has shown me that a faithful friend is worth more than gold. None of them intended to teach me a lesson, but their friendships have profoundly shaped how I see leadership. When we try and fail and try again to lead like Jesus, our shared humility will create deep love for one another. In the kingdom, the great purpose of leadership is love. I feel so honored to have made the friends that I have here, and I will not soon forget them. So what is Christian leadership? It almost certainly does not look like gaining as much power over others as we can. What I have seen here is that it looks a lot like a quiet, disciplined humility, perhaps more like waiting and preparing for a door to open than trying to pry it open ourselves, like a million small acts of obedience to a Father who loves us. It looks like being present with the people and the situations the Lord has given us. And it looks like surrounding ourselves with friends who are willing to try and to fail and keep trying. This kind of leadership may not get us what we think we want in life, but I think that we might just find that it's worth it. Thank you.